Every time you say yes, you say no to something else. Every single time. Say yes to a meeting that doesn't need you, and you said no to an hour of deep work. Say yes to a request you don't believe in, and you said no to your own priorities. Say yes to another commitment, another obligation, another favor, and you said no to something that actually mattered. The question is never, should I say no? The question is always, what am I already saying no to by saying yes to this? Most people never ask that second question. They only feel the pressure of the yes in front of them, the person asking, the expectation, the guilt of declining. They never feel the cost of what they gave away. Today we talk about that cost, and about the extraordinary power of the word most people are afraid to use, B1-B2 level. 10 vocabulary words at the end. Let's go. We live in a culture that celebrates yes. Yes is agreeable, yes is helpful, yes is a team player. Yes keeps relationships smooth and people happy. No is difficult, no is selfish, no disappoints people, no requires explanation. So we say yes, over and over, to things we don't want, don't believe in, don't have capacity for. We say yes out of guilt, out of fear. And we wonder why we're exhausted, why we're busy but not productive, why we're doing a lot but not moving forward. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Your calendar is a direct reflection of your inability to say no. Every item in it got there because you said yes. The most effective people I have studied across business, sport, science share one visible pattern. They say no constantly. To opportunities that look good but aren't right, to invitations, obligations, and additions that would dilute their focus. Their no is not rudeness, it is strategy. Focused attention can only exist when most things are declined. Before we talk about how to say no effectively, let's understand why it's so difficult. Because it is difficult, and the difficulty is not weakness, it is neurology. Saying no risks disapproval. Disapproval activates the same neural pathways as physical threat. Rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. It's hard by design. The person in front of you is immediate, real. The cost of saying yes, the goal you won't advance, is future, abstract, invisible. Human brains discount future costs. Every time you say yes when you should say no, you are making a trade. You trade a small discomfort now for a large cost later, but you don't feel the cost until later. Many people build their identity around helpfulness. Saying yes is how they confirm that identity. Saying no threatens who they believe they are. This is the deepest reason. The reframe. Saying no is not unhelpful. Saying no to the right things is what makes you genuinely helpful to the things that matter. Strategic no makes you effective. Every no closes a door. Every opportunity declined is an opportunity not taken. This fear of missing out, FOMO, is real and exploited by every app. Saying yes to one thing is already saying no to everything else. The question is not whether to miss out. You will miss out regardless. The question is what you choose to miss. There is strong research behind the power of saying no. Let me give you 2 findings that changed how I think about this. Finding 1, decision fatigue. In 2011, a landmark study analyzed over 1,000 parole board decisions. The findings were stark. Prisoners who appeared in the morning were granted parole 65% of the time. Those late in the afternoon, roughly 10%. The judges were more lenient because they hadn't yet depleted their decision-making capacity. Every decision draws from a finite cognitive reserve. Late in the day, the brain defaults to the easy option. Say yes, avoid conflict. If you cannot say no to small things, you make it harder to say no to the things that matter. Finding 2, the Warren Buffett rule. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that they say no to almost everything. Buffett maintains a schedule so empty it's uncomfortable, specifically so that when the genuinely important opportunity appears, he has the capacity to engage. Steve Jobs' obsessive elimination, Bill Gates' think weeks. Focused attention applied to the right things is what produces everything significant. Quality of output is directly proportional to the ruthlessness of your no. Focused attention over time is what produces everything significant. Say no strategically. 2 colleagues, same company, same title, same number of hours in the day, different relationship with the word no. Daniel is known as the most helpful person in the office. He never declines a request. Someone needs help. Daniel helps. Daniel is always available. At his review, his manager says, Daniel, you contribute enormously to culture, but you haven't moved forward on your own projects. You always seem stretched thin. Daniel is surprised. He has worked harder this year than any before it. He has produced almost nothing of his own. Marcus declines more things. Not rudely, clearly, and specifically. I can't take this on this week, but here is what I can do. Some people find him cold, but Marcus finishes his projects. At his review, Marcus, the quality of your work has been exceptional. The project you led changed how we think. Daniel and Marcus have the same hours. Daniel spent his trying to be useful to everyone. Marcus spent his being exceptional at the things that mattered. Both are busy, only one is moving. Most conversations about saying no focus on other people. That matters, but the deeper skill is saying no to yourself, to your own impulses, your own distractions. The phone notification. The interesting article. These are not interruptions from other people. They are choices. Every one of them is a yes to something that takes you away. Every time you pick up your phone when you didn't intend to, you said yes to distraction and no to focus. Each instance is small. The cumulative cost is enormous. Saying no to comfort is saying yes to the thing that actually develops you, the harder conversation, the more ambitious goal, the version of yourself that requires discomfort to reach. Saying no to good things, this is the hardest one. Most people can say no to bad ideas. The difficulty is saying no to good ones. A good opportunity that isn't the right opportunity. A reasonable request from a person you respect. A project that would be interesting but isn't the project. Steve Jobs said, "Focus means saying no to the 100 other good ideas that there are. Saying no to good things in service of the essential thing. That is the discipline that separates people who do interesting work from people who do a lot of work." Choose what matters. 6 principles for saying no in a way that is clear, respectful, and effective. Principle 1. No is a complete sentence. You do not owe anyone a detailed explanation for every no. No, that doesn't work for me is sufficient. Your no does not require a defense. Principle 2. Slow the yes. The most dangerous yeses are the immediate ones, said before you have thought. Build a pause into your process. Let me check my schedule. This removes the social pressure of the moment. Most overcommitment happens in the first 5 seconds. The pause that follows is where your real decision lives. Principle 3. Say no to the request, not the person. I can't take this on is not I don't want to help you. Principle 4. Offer something real or nothing. Vague alternatives leave false hope and lingering obligations. If you can offer something specifically, do it. If you cannot, say no cleanly. Vague is worse than clear. Principle 5. Know your yes criteria. The clearest no comes from a clear yes. Define what you are protecting. Does this align with those priorities? If no, the answer is almost always no. The no becomes obvious. Principle 6. Accept the discomfort as the price. Disappointing people is a one-time cost. It's smaller than the cost of a wrong yes. Pay the small discomfort once, or pay the large cost indefinitely. That is always the choice. That is always the choice. There is one category of no that matters more than all others. Not the no to a meeting, a project, or a favor. The no to the version of your life that other people have decided for you. The expectations you inherited, the path that was assumed. The version of success that was defined by your family, your culture, your industry, before you were old enough to define it for yourself. Most people never say no to this. They accommodate it. They live inside it and wonder why something feels missing. The most powerful no is the one said to a life that fits someone else's vision of who you should be. That no creates the space where your actual life can exist. This is not a call to be irresponsible. It is a call to examine, honestly, how much of what fills your days was chosen, and how much simply arrived. How much arrived through accumulation, expectation, and the inability to decline. The examination itself changes something. You cannot build the life you want by adding more. You build it by subtracting what isn't yours, until what remains is. Let me speak specifically about English, because this topic lands differently for people learning a language that is not their own. There is a specific kind of yes that English learners give constantly. Yes, I understood that. When they didn't. Yes, that's fine. When it isn't. Yes, I'll handle it. When they're not sure how. These yeses come from the discomfort of saying, I didn't understand. They come from not wanting to appear limited or uncertain in a language that isn't your first. But consider what these yeses cost. Misunderstood instructions, tasks done incorrectly. The cost of these false yeses is always higher than the momentary discomfort of the honest no. I didn't quite follow that. Could you say it again more slowly? I want to make sure I understand correctly. Do you mean X or Y? Give me a moment. These are not admissions of failure. They are acts of professional honesty. Native speakers respect them far more than false confidence. In English, as in life, a clear no or a clear I don't know is almost always more effective than a yes that doesn't hold. Choose honesty. 4 questions. These require honest answers, not comfortable ones. Question 1. Look at your calendar for the last 2 weeks. How many of those commitments would you choose again today, with full knowledge of the cost? Question 2. What is one thing you said yes to recently that you should have said no to? What did that yes cost you? Question 3. What are the 2 or 3 things in your life right now that deserve your full capacity, that you want to protect your best attention for? Question 4. What is one request, obligation, or commitment currently in your life that you would remove if you genuinely believed you were allowed to? The answer to question 4 is probably something you are allowed to remove. The belief that you are not is usually the only thing keeping it there. Keywords from today, all B1-B2 level, all high frequency in professional and personal English. Let's look at them. 1. Boundary. Definition. A limit that defines what you will and will not accept, a line between what is acceptable and what is not. In personal development, a boundary is a clear statement of your limits. Setting a boundary is not aggression, it is clarity. Used in workplace, psychology. Synonyms. Limit, line you will not cross. Personal rule, defined limit. 2. Priority. Definition. The thing that is most important and must be dealt with first. What deserves your attention before other things. When everything is a priority, nothing is. True priorities make everything else easier. A person who cannot say no has no real priorities. The verb form. To prioritize. Synonyms. Most important thing, what comes first, what matters most, top concern. 3. Commitment. Definition. A promise or obligation to do something, something you have agreed to and are expected to follow through on. Commitments have weight. Once made, breaking them has a cost. An unconsidered yes becomes a commitment. A commitment has consequences. Used in work relationships. Synonyms. Promise, obligation, pledge, something you have agreed to do. 4. Decline. Definition. To politely say no to something. To refuse an offer, request, or invitation in a respectful way. Decline is the professional word for saying no. It carries no aggression. You decline an invitation, decline a request, or decline an offer. Used in professional English, formal situations. Synonyms. Politely say no, turn down, refuse respectfully, not accept. 5. Overwhelmed. Definition. Feeling that there is too much to handle, having more demands, tasks, or emotions than you can manage. Being overwhelmed is the result of insufficient no. Recognize the feeling as a signal, not a permanent state. Capacity is real and finite. Used in psychology, work. Synonyms. Too much to handle, swamped, buried under too much, unable to cope. 6. Assertive. Definition. Communicating your needs, opinions, and limits clearly and confidently without being aggressive or passive. Being assertive is the middle ground. It means saying what you mean, including no, without apology or aggression. It is a learnable skill. Used in communication, workplace. Synonyms. Direct but not aggressive. Clear about your needs, confident communicator. 7. Capacity. Definition. The maximum amount that something can contain or do. Your ability to handle a given amount of work. Understanding your own capacity honestly is the foundation of saying no intelligently. At capacity means full, you cannot take on more. Used in work, everyday conversation. Synonyms. Maximum ability, how much you can handle, available bandwidth. Let's finish our vocabulary list with the final 3 powerful words from today's lesson. 8. Resentment. Definition. A feeling of anger or bitterness about something you feel is unfair, especially about obligations you did not choose. Resentment is the result of a yes said when no was the honest answer. It is the clearest signal that a boundary was needed and not set. Used in psychology, personal development. Synonyms: bitterness, suppressed anger, feeling of unfairness, hidden frustration. 9. Integrity. Definition: the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Doing what you say you will do. Integrity and saying no are deeply connected. People with strong integrity often say no more because they only say yes when they mean it. Used in ethics, workplace. Synonyms: honesty, wholeness, consistency between values and actions, doing what you say. 10. Essential. Definition: absolutely necessary, the most important thing without which everything else is less meaningful. The disciplined pursuit of less, saying no to everything except the essential, is the key to doing what matters most. Understand what is core. Used in philosophy, work. Synonyms: absolutely necessary, most important, cannot be removed, core. Now that you have the vocabulary, stay with me for the final message of this course. It's time to conclude. Here is what I want to leave you with. No is not a negative word. No is a statement of value. It says, this matters enough to me. People who have built the work they are proud of, who have genuine relationships, almost always have a clear and practiced no, because they understand the cost. Every no you say to the right things is a yes to yourself, to your work, to the version of your life that is actually worth building. The word is small, 2 letters, 1 syllable. Learning to mean it and say it is one of the most significant things you will ever do. Tell me in the comments, what is one thing you are going to say no to this week? Write it. That commitment, stated publicly, is the beginning. That commitment is the beginning. Goodbye.